today's video, I wanted to talk about the newest Fears to Fathom episode, and basically what I liked, what I didn't like about it, and so on and so forth. I think to start off with, I would like to talk about the whole co-op aspect, which I had seen on some sites that people were concerned about the whole co-op aspect and how that would affect the gameplay and just how it will work and whether or not Fears to Fathom was meant to be co-op. Now, I did not know what to expect from the co-op aspect like everyone else, but I was pleasantly surprised. I think that it might be one of my favorite episodes. Like, top 3 minimum, maybe 2 or 3. I can talk more about that in a little bit, but it is a solid experience, in my opinion, for Fears to Fathom game. And this video is kind of going to be all over just me talking about certain things. I don't have this really organized, but you know, that's how I'm going to do things for this video. So, the replayability to me, in this one, it seems better than any of the episodes so far. Now, you do have 2 players, so of course you're probably going to get at least 2 playthroughs, but I know a lot of people like messing around with glitches and whatnot. I feel that's kind of a part of Fears to Fathom's identity, is just they're doing a whole bunch of random stuff. Just like trying to break out of bounds and whatnot, just mess with the game. And there's probably gonna be, well, there is gonna be some spoilers in this video. I really liked that there's those little alternate endings where if you like take, I think it's a left turn at that one street. I can't be more specific, but there's like one turn that you can take and it'll end the game there. And I believe if you go backwards when you're on the highway, it says that they went the next day. I thought that was hilarious, and I hope that they do. Or what's his name? Is it like Rael? I think. I hope he does more of that in the future, because it was such a silly thing, and I really want to see more of that. In terms of the second playthrough, like, you get to play as Marcus and Tessa. I really thought that was awesome. Like, it was just like fun for it's sort of like having 2 Fears to Fathoms, like maybe like a Fears to Fathom and a half from each playthrough. That was really cool, just seeing each person's perspective, and I'm really curious to see how he handles this in the future episodes, because I was really uncertain, as I've said. I was doubting it could be done, but to see that it happened like this and was done so well, at least in my opinion, it gives me a lot of hope for future episodes, and I'm really looking forward to see what exactly he has planned for the future, because I really like this one. Now, one thing I do see mostly on commentary channels is that a lot of people don't take the game too seriously, which I understand that, but I also think there's no real proper way to play the game. It is a horror story, yes, but at the same time it's also a video game, so you are welcome to play it as you see fit. You can roleplay, I guess, if you wanted to, or you could just goof off, and that's sort of what my friend and I did. Well, my first playthrough I did with another friend. There it was a bit more serious for us, but for my other playthrough, we just kind of goofed still had a really good time playing through it. And I feel that, having a good time is what's most important about gaming, and specifically for a co-op game, I think that just being able to play it the way that you want to play is pretty goddamn important. So, I do like that you're just set. I'm trying to think of what I want to say here. I like that you're kind of free to do what you want in certain aspects. Like, you can crash the car around on the highway, and was it Norwood hitchhike, or if you crashed into another car, it kills you, which I'm pretty sure that we did multiple times to other cars and it didn't kill us, so I'm assuming that was removed, or we just didn't trigger it. But I just love that you can play the game in a serious manner, or just a goofing off sort of manner. Now, in terms of, I don't know how to phrase this, like, I don't know. I'm trying to word that. Okay, we'll come back to that maybe if I remember, because I don't know what exactly. Like, I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know what I'm trying to say at the same time. So, I want to move on to the voice acting, unless I can come back to that thought, which I don't think I can now, because I don't even know what I was trying to say. But I do know what I was trying to say. I don't know. I really like the voice acting in this one. I believe that we had some, when did we first hear the voice acting? Was that in, Woodbury Getaway? Or was it Carson House? Because I don't think there was any in Norwood Hitchhike, was there? I don't know, but, in terms of sounding like just casual, everyday people, I thought that the voice actors for Marcus and Tessa did a really good job. Just something like a random couple you'd see out in the middle of nowhere, like you're not expecting anything super overacted or anything. It's just what I would expect these two people to sound like. And I like all the dialogue choices, like how in certain scenarios you can have Marcus answer for something or Tessa answer for something. It is Tessa, right? It's not Tess. I keep thinking it's Tessa. Maybe I think it is Tessa. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep calling her Tessa. But I do like that you can, like, for certain conversations, pick who says the prompt. And I don't think there's like any sort of hidden dialogue at all, but that is another way to experience a playthrough, just depending on who speaks for what. Although I guess that doesn't really, well, I guess if you take turns, again, you're just free to play how you want to play, and if you want to just have Marcus answer everything that he's able to answer, you can go ahead and do so, but then I believe you'll get some certain dialogue that's different if you have the other person answer something that can be answered by both people, which is pretty cool. And, but was it there was no eating in this episode, which was a first for Fierce to Fathom, which, I don't know, there's a whole lot of meminess about these games that, I don't know, to me, the weird eating and peeing sequences are just strange, but they're part of Fierce to Fathom's identity at this point, so might as well keep them, I suppose, because it's like a small little life simulator in some aspects. Now, in terms of the jump scares, there were, let's see, there's one at the gas station, which either player can obtain or can be scared by. There was one in the auto shop, one as Tessa, and then Miss Marcus in the basement, and then also when you come up the stairs, that was also another interesting thing. The fact that Marcus is able to die when you're beneath the church. I thought that was really cool and really interesting. Because this doesn't really have any deaths until she wakes up at like 3:33 a.m. And then you can die from the old hag, Australia, or whatever her name is. I also really liked her as a villain. Like I said, I'm going to be going all over the place in this, but in terms, I guess she wasn't she was kind of the central villain, but I liked her as a villain. But I also like the whole cult that's after you. And then we have, what's his face? Was it Connor? From the Lookout Tower, which was pretty cool. He said Ironbark. Ironwood, Ironbark. It's Ironbark. But it was cool to see him again, but now he's a traitor. And that's another thing that I see posted about online, is that if these are based on true stories, why are things not linked together? But, you know, this is also Rails game. He can link it however he wants to. I mean, of course, certain things are going to be made up in these, and that's just the way that he's going to handle the games. So, nothing wrong with that. And also, I don't want to keep going on off topic, but I did see that he might be implementing a single player feature in the future, which I'd be curious to see how that works. I don't know if he'd replace one person with a bot or just make it like a standalone story. So, removing the tree in the road, the couch, and that box in the basement. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that works. But in terms of length, I want to say I think it was decent length. I mean, first playthrough of the game took over 2 hours. That's because we kept failing when trying to escape at the end. But I was happy with length. I mean, if you're trying to do this in one playthrough, I think you could probably, I don't know, maybe you could speedrun it in under an hour. I don't know. I haven't looked at any speedruns of the game, but I imagine it could be done. But for your average player who's going to be exploring everything and whatnot, I think that's about average for what they've been lately. I think Carson House was kind of the in between the short episodes and the longer ones, like Woodbury Getaway. Felt like it was a long episode. But now I gotta check and see what that other one's called. I think it's Ironbark Lookout. The length is definitely still there, which is really good because these are fun to play through. We only get them every so often, you know. Okay, it is Ironbark Lookout, which that's another good one too. A lot of people say that's their favorite one, and I don't know. Woodbury Getaway, I really liked. I liked the whole snowy aspect and everything, but I don't know. This one's kind of up there just for co-op experience, as well as I thought the whole story was interesting and the whole area. I really liked the chase sequence at the end. I thought was really good because we haven't really seen anything like that since Carson House. Woodbury Getaway. Well, you were hiding in Woodbury Getaway, which I guess you were kind of doing here, but this felt like an exciting chase sequence, which supposing they're perhaps not going to do again for a while, but you never know. I guess it depends on who all sends in the stories, but I don't know. Now, in terms of actual scariness, I don't know if I ever went through my point with the jump scares, but probably not. I would say there's a decent amount of tension all over where you're just unsure of what's gonna happen. Like being separated at the house was really good. I like that, because you get the knock on the doors, Tessa, and then Marcus has to go outside by himself, that little creepy cemetery area by the church. I like the horror aspect a lot. I would say it feels like one of the more scary episodes. Same with Airmark Lookout, that one also felt very creepy. So, I am very fond of the creepiness from this one, although I feel like it can get creepier. And if you're playing around co-op, then of course it's mayhaps not going to be as creepy as it could be by yourself, but still, if you're trying to do things all seriously, like I was the first playthrough, there was definitely just that feeling of not knowing what was going to happen. Like when we first entered the gas station, I had no idea that dude was in that back room there, and it scared the crap out of me. Same with the mechanic shop when the one dude, what's his face? Not Buck, Harry, when he comes out and just jump scares you. There's like something around every corner, and you really just feel that the entire time that it's like you know something's gonna happen, but you're also not expecting it at that moment. So I have like a love-hate relationship with the jump scares. On one hand, I don't like them, but on the other hand, I think they're very humorous. I can get some good reaction, especially co-op, like when someone's there with you and you guys are both getting jump scared. That's hilarious, but I do wonder if they can be improved upon to, like, because half the time when I was playing with my friends, it was, for those first two, it was either or. One of us was getting scared, the other person was like halfway across the area, so I would like there to be maybe some way they both experience the jump scares, which I guess if you're playing seriously, then you're gonna try and stand close, but perhaps there's a way to really both get the same scare. But that's just me. I know there's some people that aren't really a fan of jump scares, but then I would ask, why are you playing the game? And maybe you're playing for the story, which I suppose it could be. But I guess if it's jump scares that you're worried about, you could just look up what the jump scares are. But anyways, for overall characters, Miss Julia was really creepy. I did not like Buck at all, so I think he was really well designed. I mean, he only appears there at the gas station or mechanic shop, whatever it is, and then again at the end when you're at what's her Billy Boy's house, which that lady looks really terrifying. She was scary as crap. It was also interesting how they handled the racism here, which without being I was gonna say without being direct, but they're fairly directly racist. So it's not something that you see in a game too often, which was interesting to see handled here. But yeah, Buck and Miss Julia were really good villains. I liked that you could see Buck. I forget where it was. Was it when the tree is in the middle of the road? You can see Buck watching you. I think there's an achievement that you get for that actually. And I thought that was really cool because my first playthrough I didn't notice it. My second playthrough I did notice it because my girlfriend and I were going off of the road and we looked over to the house and saw him up there and we approached him and then he's just like mysteriously walking into his house. And then Miss Julia is just so soft-spoken, but also like really creepy. Like, you know, something is off about her, but like you can't quite pinpoint what it is. So I think she was well written, although I suppose she might have been based off a real person, but who knows really. Now, as for the cultist, it was interesting to see them again from Ironbark Lookout. I don't know if that's going to be something Rail is going to continue onward in the future episodes. I think it could be interesting if it was explored, but also not overdone. Like, I don't think they should be something that appears in every episode. I don't think that's how he's gonna handle it. I'd be more interested to see in the Norwood hitchhike people, like the weird dude in the white clothes that what's his face punched. But honestly, leaving them as standalone stories, which was done with Huckleberry Getaway and, well, pretty much everything else. I think that's how it should be handled. When maybe like the finale of this season, bringing back the cultists and just Rail doing whatever he wants to do with them. But who knows what's all gonna happen. And it was interesting seeing characters like you're maybe hoping that someone would be friendly enough or just kind of suspicious of everyone, but it turns out that they're all in on it and all want to kill Marcus and Tessa, which is kind of unfortunate, but what I would like to see is like someone who comes to save the day again, like in Norwood Hitchhike, when the motel dude comes and saves you, but I would like to see that again, or maybe a chance in co-op for one player to save the other, like the vent, or just one player gets kidnapped, the other person has to come to the rescue. Now, whether or not someone's gonna like submit a story about that, who knows? I think it could be made up if Rail really wants to, but who knows? I think that's kind of all that I wanted to say for the moment. I just thought that one lady who's like talking about the Morning Star, she looks really, really weird for an old lady, but other than that, I really liked the episode. I liked it a lot. I think Woodbury Getaway was probably my favorite, though, followed by this one. Maybe Carson House. I was Norwood Hitchhike. Well, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Iron Park Lookout. I mean, I really liked it, but in terms of ranking all these, Home Alone is of course going to be at the bottom, but then I don't know. I can't think of my list how I would go right at the top of my head because I need to replay them again. Get a feel for everything, but yeah, I can't come up with a proper ranking now. But I will be doing a video on this episode at some point whenever I finish with Carson House, Iron Park Lookout, and Woodbury Getaway. Who knows when I would like to do Carson House at some point this summer. As for the other two, I don't know when they'll be coming out. But I want to thank you guys all for watching, and hope you have a good rest of your day.